Yo, what up, everybody? You listening to Fuego Beach Radio, and you're on the line with Fuego and Prophet, and we gonna have a special guest today, Ryder Jones, one of the great poets of our time, in my opinion. What's good, son?
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm good. I appreciate that compliment, for real. That's big words coming from you.
Oh, dog, yo, I'm not even joking. I was telling Prophet, I'm listening to this dude, and I mean, we got to get him on some projects we working on, yo. Like I was like, yo, this dude. I mean,
I'm with it, man. I'm with it.
I'm gonna tell you like this, when I heard it, I'm like, cause I mean, honestly, when people say they, poets or whatever, you know how that goes. Everybody's doing everything nowadays.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, let me hear this dude or whatever. So the first track, well, it was probably like a couple of months ago, Prophet let me hear. I was like, wow, yo, we got to get him on. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, at the like I said, I was at the artist showcase over at 45 Degrees. Shout out 45 Degrees and whatnot.
Yeah.
I was in there, and right when I walked in, that's when Ryder went on. I was like, okay, let's see what he's got. Let's see what he's working with. And I was like, wow. You don't usually see that nowadays. You don't usually see spoken word, out there like that for whatever reason. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go holler at this dude, see what's good. See if we can't get him on the show, and rapped with him, and here you have it on the show with us right now. So my first question was, I wanted to ask you, so what made you go the route of be going, spoken word artist, as opposed to being a rapper? Well, basically, I tell a lot of people this. Most spoken word artists probably attempted to be rappers at one point, and I'm no different. I used to rhyme, had a little group with like 3 of my cousins and one of my homeboys. I've known him for like 30 years or whatever, and of course I knew them. So we all like hip hop, so it was sort of a natural thing for cats from where I'm from to try to get into it. So I kept going. The group thing didn't come to be like we wanted it to. And me and one of my cousins, we kept doing it for a while. And then, it got to the point where I was like, well, let me just try to do something different. So I kept on writing, and he kept on, spitting his rhymes or whatever. And he was recording and doing things. And, I just kept writing and writing and writing. So eventually I ended up putting out a book, like a poetry book, just to test the waters to see how it was. And people, they were feeling it. So after a while, I started saying, I wonder how these will sound if I actually perform them on stage or just perform them instead of, the music. I didn't use music at first, right? And he was like one of my biggest supporters. And unfortunately, he passed away in January 2010. And at that point, I told myself, well, I was already doing it, no rhyme and just straight spoken word from like '08 up to 10. And then when that happened in 2010, I knew for sure that I'm not going to pursue hip-hop at all. If somebody asked me or if catch one of these young dudes in the street want to try to challenge me or something, yeah, I'm going to do it. But as far as what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to put out there to the public, it was straight spoken word for me. Because I felt like I could reach more people and be a little more serious because, be real. How many, you can run into 10 cats in the street right now, 8 of them are MCs. Or they call themselves MCs. So I want to try that not everybody's doing, especially around here.
Yep. I feel you 100% on that. That's like I said, that's some real shit right there. I just, like I said, you sometimes stumble upon artists and poets like you, but it's very hard. You know what I'm saying? And we'll talk offline about the projects we was talking about, but yo, I'm telling you, like, it's really like once I find somebody like you, I'm like, yo, we gotta keep dealing with this dude because it's very hard to find somebody that's dedicated, that got talent, and that knows, the ins and outs of what this business as a whole is about. You can't really find all 3. You might have 1 or maybe 2, but not all 3 like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's so true.
And that's
I tell cats, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I tell cats all the time. I tell cats all the time that, just because you're a spoken word artist or consider yourself a poet, you don't don't have to be put in that type of poet box per se. You know, most of the time when people hear spoken word artist or poet, the first thing they think is you're gonna come with some soft about the trees and the birds and ooh, I gotta get this girl, and you know you coming up with a whole bunch of slick wordplay to try to get some. You know, I can say what I want on this joint, right?
Oh yeah, you
I mean,
good.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You good. I ain't want to come off wrong. Basically, they just trying to get something from a chick, you know, so they feel like, yo, if I call myself a poet, I'm gonna have all the shit. But that was never my intention. You know, I did it because I want to get my message out there, and I always try to make myself different from everybody else as much as possible. There are some people that do the same type of spoken word that I do, and they put it over music, and they still coming with real substance and concepts that aren't just I'm a poet, I like the trees and the birds, and you know that singing type style, which is nothing wrong with it if that's your lane, but you know the slam type style that you see a lot. I don't do it. I would feel kind of funny doing it because that's just not even me. That's not where I came from. You know, I'm a regular Portsmouth, you know, from Portsmouth, grew up in the streets, but kept my level head, you know, so that's not me.
Yeah, exactly. And that was my next question. I was gonna ask where you was from, but you already, you know, you said Portsmouth, and I mean, yo, it's like I said, it's crazy to hear what you said. You know, I'm not gonna ask you your age and all like that, but regardless, just like that shows like a lot of wisdom right there.
It's all good. I'll tell people in a minute. It's no problem. I mean, I'm 38 years old, man.
Oh, son, wow. So that's even better because I straight thought, I thought you was at oldest 29 like us or like me.
Oh no,
I didn't know, So you keep yourself right too.
I turned 38. I turned 38 in August, man, and you know that definitely plays a lot into it, like you said, because I'm not trying to be on no stage jumping around doing those shows, man. I'll be tired after the first song, like, yo, y'all go ahead. I got. I ain't got the energy, you know, MC no more like that.
Yo, I feel you, and I'm glad you said that because all the artists listen up. You know what I'm saying? Because he just said energy. You got it. It's not just spitting rhymes, especially when you get on stage. It's a workout.
Yeah.
That joint. Yes. And I know that. I'm like, yo, I give it to y'all that get up on there, man, because it be hot and I just be chilling. so I'm like, yo, that's official right there. But so I mean, how many years? You know, you taking it back to when you did spit rhymes and everything. Was you doing that like from teenage years or?
Yeah, well, let's see. After high school, I would say 18. I would say 18 to around 26, 27 maybe.
Yeah, that's about
you know.
right.
Yeah, and you see that window of opportunity closing when you haven't had any good leads on getting in, getting in the game. Because, it's a young man sport. Call it what it is. Even though people that love real hip-hop, and I say real hip-hop to say not the stuff that you're hearing right now, not that they can't do it, that, hey, if that's what you choose to do your thing. But I'm talking about people that love the art, people that are still in it for the craft of it. You get to a point where you can't be out there in the game with the rest of these young people. That's why the music I listen to, I go and search for it because I know where to find it because I've been following these artists for years.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, getting back to your question, around that age, I gave it up. So like in '07, I went back to school, finished my degree or whatever.
Okay.
And I was really into the writing, and my manager, Derek, shout out to Derek Riddick, my manager, he do good work.
Right.
He coaxed me to go to this open mic at North State, which is where I went back to.
Okay.
And I was like, man, I ain't never performed like that. He was like, man, if you got the piece memorized, just go ahead and do it, man. Let's just test it and see what's out there. So I went and I did it, and it was this piece called Blackness Revisited. It's like the first piece I ever memorized. So I did it, and the response was amazing. I'm like, yo, they really feel what I wrote. I'm like, God, okay. So keep going. So I started hitting open mics and stuff like that in like '08, and I've been fortunate enough to have been featured in certain places, performed at colleges in other states. Just around here, I've done a CD you know, they've been pretty well received for being an independent spoken word artist who likes to put his stuff over music.
Exactly.
You know, because a lot of people, they hear it and they're like, well, that's not really spoken word because you're using music and then you're using hip-hop based tracks, which most of them are. On the second one, I would say they're more hip-hop / soulful because I've run into, you know, great producers. But it's still, at the end of it all, if you take the music away, it's still my spoken word piece.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm rolling with, you know.
No doubt. No doubt. Yo, like I said, this has been a great conversation right here so far. We do want to get into one of your songs right there so they could, you know, hear this and see what's up, and then we'll be right back.
That's what's up.
All right.
Stand here and tell you how much time and effort is put into perfecting my craft, but you wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand how I've stood hand in hand with hip-hop and poetry and let fate decide which one will take hold of me. Become the vessel I use to express my blues and celebrate happier times. You wouldn't understand how even though my words are similar to rhymes, the odd way in which it's hit or miss you may never decipher. The shift in movement whenever I decide to do it. You wouldn't understand why sometimes I speak street slang to the world and in the same instant speak on how defenseless girls are being taken advantage of, yet somehow manage to rise above and beyond the fact that their life might be spiraling into darkness. You wouldn't understand how I've contemplated giving up speaking, because for a long time I thought the scene in which I did my thing was the end all be all, but I see how being global is much more satisfying. Aside from crying, I've done it all, including going back and forth with myself about what might be my true calling. But you wouldn't understand how stalling to release my second CD has made me that much more of a poet. Practice makes perfect, and learning from prior mistakes equals growing. I know it. Then you probably wouldn't understand how I could say that I love my craft, but come to a venue and remain in the back, just observing instead of jumping at the chance at serving up something fresh and new to the people. I know it seems kind of deceitful. I could explain it again, but you wouldn't understand. I don't feel the need to bleed myself dry every time my eyes observe the voice apparatus or continue to update my social media status with my poems. I just don't choose to project it till I'm ready, so respect my choices and save the opinion voicing for someone who gives a fuck. But like I said before, you wouldn't understand that I'm built up way different than a lot of other performers. But if I speak on it, I'm judged and labeled as a loner, and that part even I don't understand. I thought we had the right as artists and speakers to say what we feel. It's not like I said anybody's name or even revealed if it's somebody in my home state. Anyway, I can't sit around all day and debate, because no matter how much talking I do, you still wouldn't understand.
But nah, you wouldn't understand. I got you stuck on the realness. But nah, you wouldn't understand. I got you stuck on the realness. But nah, you wouldn't understand. I got you stuck on the realness.
Yo, welcome back to Fuego Beats. This is Prophet of Fuego with my man Ryder Jones. Now I wanted to get right back into it. I wanted to ask you, what influences Ryder Jones? What makes Ryder Jones Ryder Jones? Well, I mean, other poets. I have other poets that do, and that I look at as influences, but mainly I just see things and I just want to write about them. And, you know, mainly I want to help people. I always say that's my main goal. Not that I'm out here in the streets every day preaching to people and yanking little boys or little girls by their arm and like, yo, you got to listen to this. This is the wrong thing you're doing. This is the right thing. I would rather just put it out there, you know, through my work, and hopefully the right person will come across it or to end up in the right hands, and somebody can be touched by my words. I mean, I always say, and I've been saying this for years, if I can touch one person when I perform or they listen to my work, then I've done my job. And, right. And that's what kind of influences me and makes me Ryder Jones. I mean, but as far as, I don't know if you mean my influences or what made me want to start doing it, but there's several of those people. Well, what made you want to start doing it as far as like the whole thing is concerned? Well, what made me, like I said, I was an MC, and I wanted to keep writing, and I wanted to keep making songs. So I chose to make my spoken word pieces into songs. And the first time I did it, I'm like, it sounds kind of good. I mean, it's not the norm, and I know that I won't be able to go up to any hip hop audience or whatever and say, yo, this is what it is, listen to this, and they're going to receive it. Because it's not well received by a lot of people. But at the same time, you have to keep throwing rocks until you hit something. You got to put it out there. And same way, I'm on with y'all right now. Y'all felt it because one out of every 10 just may feel it. It's been running a couple of other blog talk radio stations and stuff like that. They feel it, but those are more so dedicated to spoken word. But just be received in a market where all genres are played. That's a wonderful thing. Because people are starting to recognize that, hey, spoken word artists got something to say too. It's not just what you see on Def Comedy Jam or Brave New Voices or what's the new joint, Verses and Flow. It's not just all that. You got some cats that are out here in the streets who are probably some of the best people to talk to if you want to get advice or if you want to just hear some good knowledge. And, one of the spoken word, street prophets, as I call them, and as I refer to myself a lot, and just sit down and have a conversation with them or listen to some of their work. Hey, you might be at work one day in a store, out talking to your kids, and be like, well, you know what? What Ryder Jones said in that one piece, that was cool, and I'm going to go ahead and use this. And that's what it's for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I definitely feel that right there. I just listen, listening to your tracks and everything. Like I said, it's more like, when you mentioned the whole, the whole craft of it, you know what I mean, and not being received like that. I always tell everybody that the music, and I'm gonna be 100% on here right now, because I never BS. I don't care if we on and a million people hear this. It don't matter to me. I'm gonna tell them like it is. And the shit I like, it's not gonna sell. That's just what it is.
Definitely.
True shit. It's just not gonna. So I always tell everybody is what I do with music. I don't ever have to get a cent with music. It's everything else I do that makes me get my money. You know what I'm saying? So if I was a rapper, I'm doing it just like I play basketball. So if you want a pickup game, let's go. I'm not trying to get bread from that. I mean, I'm going to go. It doesn't really matter at any point in time. I'm doing this forever. Obviously, I'm not in the NBA. So I'm still playing ball because I love it. And that's what I'm saying. And I know that what I like is not mainstream. What I like to make is not mainstream. And that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not in it for the money. And that's what I feel has happened to the whole music in general. It's just it got filtered with money. I could make, and they don't even realize that it's not it. They can't just do it off of one album. It's not gonna get you riches like that. You know what I'm saying?
Record sales is not even where they're getting most of the money from now. It's touring and being sponsored by different shoe companies, soda or anything. But you can't. It's hard to get that across to a lot of young dudes coming into the game because they feel like I see Drake or Wayne or 2 Chainz or whoever on TV all the time. They got bottles, they got women, and that's what I'm going to be. That's what I want. But they don't see it behind the scenes what these cats go for.
And they don't see that cats like your man 2 Chainz. Like, I just realized he was with Luda all that time. You know what I'm saying?
I remember that.
I just remember Nicki Minaj was with Bow-Legged Lou. You know what I'm saying? And his crew in Queens. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't know that. Look at backstory. I'm like the king of backstories. When it comes to I want to know. Drake. I mean, the dude was in everything from the Soul Foods TV show to Degrassi when he was in a wheelchair, a star basketball player. So he actually was in the game first. And it's so much easier when you already an entertainer. I mean, you're there.
Yep.
You meet everybody. You're not the average Joe from the hood like it used to be when cats like Eric B, Rakim, and the pioneers came in that joint. It's totally different. You know what I mean? And I mean that's why I like. I mean, when you tell me that as an artist, and I already know. Now we could talk on the next level because we already established that you have done your homework and you're very well-rounded as far as in knowing the ins and outs of the game when it comes to like the business aspect and all that.
Oh yes, definitely. I'm like you. I'm a backstory fool. I need to know what happened. I want to know how you got here. You know, and I tell cats all the time. I look at them. I'm like, yo, y'all ain't realize that was Rick Ross in that Trina video with the tight Lakers jersey on back in the day. He just kind of, and they like, man, go ahead. And they finally see. They like, hey, it's Rick Ross, and that was what 2002 maybe. Yeah, it took him all that time to get to where he is now.
All I have to say is Diddy was a backup dancer.
Yes,
that's all.
I'm pretty sure if I ran through old VHS tapes right now, I'd find videos I taped back in the day with Diddy dancing with that tall curl box. Yes, I remember it all.
But see, and that's what I say. Like, you know, do your homework. You know, don't just call yourself, you know, any type of artist or anything. Like I know, all I know is basketball when it comes to sports. So I'm not gonna profess to know hockey. I don't know baseball. I didn't know what RBI stand for until my wife told me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna pretend that I'm a sportscaster. That's what I am. I'm just calling myself things. I mean, you know, you got to know the art. You know, I mean, you know, and know everything when it comes to the art. I mean, not just about doing it. And I think that form that makes you into, like, when you have stuff to say. You know what I'm saying? It knowing all of that and then going through stuff too. You could tell from an artist when they ain't been through much.
Nope, because they have nothing to say. No substance.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm like, man.
And they all sound the same. All of them.
Don't get it. Don't get it. I'm saying it. I say whatever, and I am. I'm not gonna call nobody's name, but yo, the stuff we've been getting. All right, we're doing you know, matter of fact, shout out to everybody that's helping with the 2 projects. I can get into it for a second, and then I'll, you know, offline I'll talk more deep into it. But we're doing soundtrack for a movie, Zombie Day. Shout out to my man Brian Booker, and we also doing a collaboration type mixtape, you know, from all the artists we deal with here. You know what I'm saying? So we were looking, you know, we're looking for artists to submit things and everything like that. We got a couple ones that we want to deal with, but then we're looking for more. And I've been getting nothing but stuff that makes you just, like, you know, when you smell something that, well, I can't even say that. It just makes you be like, why would you even attempt? You know that's not good. Like, everything about it, you know, is not good.
Yeah.
And you still, and I explain what I want. I explain what I'm trying to do, and you still send me a Drake track when I just said if I wanted Drake, I would go after Drake.
Exactly. Why not? That's what I mean. People, they don't get it. They don't get it. If I ask for something specific, that's not, you know, I don't want to hear another. What's the song that's out right now? I don't know why I keep referring to that man with 2 Chainz. He's just so hilarious. Man, you know, like the birthday song or whatever, and then you hear the young dude. What's the young cat in Chicago that's causing all Big Sean. Not Big Sean. Not him. The young boy was beefing with Kweli like last week on Twitter and all that. Oh wow! I didn't even hear about that.
That's sad. I'm that old now. I don't even know. I'm not.
Yeah. No, actually, it wasn't Kweli. I'm wrong. It was Lupe. He was beefing with Lupe. And because of that, Lupe was saying that he was going to quit and all that because it's sad. The state of the game is so sad. And he said all the young boys that's doing all the killings and stuff in Chicago, they all look like him. I can't think of his name because I'm not a fan of his music. Right?
Yeah, I have no idea. I got to look that up.
Yeah, look it up. He got that song that say I don't like and all that. Yeah, I hear people playing it.
Hold on. I'm actually about looking at this joint out right now because I want to know who this dude is. You said he was beefing with Lupe.
Yeah, beefing with Lupe.
Okay.
Man, what is that name?
Now watch me not even know his name when I see it.
His name is Chief Keef. Chief Keef.
Oh, okay.
I heard of that name, but I haven't even heard of anything. Yeah. It came to, that's his name, Chief Keef. Chief Keef. Yeah, and I'm like, everybody I hear rhyming, like young guys around here mainly, you know, not everybody, because there's a lot of dope artists, and I know a lot of them, and I'm cool with the ones that are doing the good music. But some of the other people, I hear them, and I'm like, come on, man, seriously. We live in Virginia. You don't live in Atlanta, Alabama, Mississippi. Not saying that you can't make the type of music you make, but some music is is state specific, if you want to put it. I mean, that's what they make. They make South music. You got your New York sound. You got your West Coast sound.
Exactly.
Stay in your state, or come with something new.
But you know what? And Prophet, you already know that.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let's go to another track and come back, and we got to come back to that what you just said, Ryder Jones. Yo, Fuego Beats Radio, and we here with Ryder Jones. We're gonna go to another one of his tracks.
Word.
You see, all too often, we feel like we spend too much time talking, trying to figure out how life works. And even though me and the fellas are over 30, we're often looked at like jerks because we still make mistakes and haven't mastered that all too elusive trait of just being perfect. Whether it's with our women, our jobs, our school, our moms, our dads, our kids, what we have, what we did will never be good enough in the eyes of someone who's watching us from the outside. We sit in hope-filled garages, fantasizing about mirages that we thought by now would be our right now reality. But instead, a mere fallacies told to people we haven't seen in years when they approach us in the streets and ask us how we're doing. Even though some may be pursuing college degrees that escaped them in the 90s, or making over 70 G's instead of living grimy on those same streets that could have easily swallowed us, that fear of not being good enough in the eyes of others still follows us like shadows on sidewalks we tried to escape as kids. A few cats completed bids, some would succumb to chemical tears caused by uncontrollable addiction. Some would master the art of diction, and some are just satisfied with the fact that they're still living. When we took on the role of parents, it became apparent sometime around the year 2000 that even though there was not as much public housing, our city still played a part in the way that we were housing enough self-doubt to fill the stadium that had been leveled to make room for a newer version of our high school. Still considered a crew of cool dudes, we pound away at ideas to pursue and hope that one of the rocks we threw will hit something that will prove to be tangible. Vacations at Sandals in our minds, we hope for more than 9 to 5s and witty handles to refer to ourselves as once we were adults. But like deep penetrating insults, the reality of life showed us that the ease with which we thought it would take to become successful chose totally different lanes for us. Nothing like choruses sang aloud, our change never came the way we thought it would. Yeah, we've been blessed to live a life that's good, but great was the place that we were striving for. But the work never equaled the force we put into going that distance. Newton's ultimate discovery kept us so grounded that flying above our expectations became almost non-existent. And impatient actions drove my faction to begin to settle. And grown-up responsibilities made it too hard to pedal beyond making sure bills were paid and having a nice place to stay. Society's expectations drove stagnant ways to occupy that dormant phase. And routine living made it almost impossible to distinguish nights from days. Life just seems to run together as one long story with no page for a satisfactory ending. And blending in with the downtown rat race showed us the face in the mirror that couldn't have defined any clearer that we finally become who we were going to be. But now that we've been put in tune, the question looms, who are we? Are we to just be satisfied with being successfully complacent? Or do we attempt to make sense of the garbled messages in our heads that could be the blueprints to having our 2 cents heard by the world? We still search for some type of common ground. Our soul's journey must continue. And until that elusive thing, successes abound, consider us the modern day Renaissance men. And our roots are found in P-Town.
Yo, what up? Again, everybody, this is Fuego and Prophet on Fuego Beats Radio, talking with Ryder Jones, having a great conversation. You know what I'm saying? We was just about to get into this real quick. I'm not going to spend too much time, of course. Matter of fact, shout out to Egypt that's probably going to curse me out for this one. Nah, let me stop. But basically, you right before we went to the break, Ryder, you mentioned about staying in your lane and come up with something unique for your area. So we got in the conversation a couple of months ago because I was saying that for some reason I'm not understanding why VA doesn't have like an identity. When I was in New York and moved from Virginia to Virginia Beach, when I went back to New York, they was all amped up because I moved to Virginia Beach. Like I just said, I moved to like L.A. or something. You know what I mean? They was amped, so people know about it. So I always wondered, why don't they have their own identity? Why do they, on certain areas, they shoot for New York, especially down there in the VA Beach area? They either shoot to be like New York, or they shoot to be like dirty when they not dirty. You know what I'm saying? Or they shoot for like a Cali. They don't have nothing, or come with some, semi-original. Just like, I mean, I can even say where I'm at because I live in Dale City area in VA, right by DC. Now they all about go-go because DC's right there. I can understand that a little more because DC's right there. You know what I mean? It's freaking like Chesapeake, Virginia Beach right next to each other. So you kind of feel that. So I don't know if you have an opinion on that. Do you?
Well, I can say that I have an opinion on it because I also write for a blog site, which is because I love hiphop.com. Shout out to Miss Anita, my partner.
Okay.
And we get submissions. We get local submissions, but we get submissions from everywhere, in other countries, other states, everything. So I can say that I do see a lot of music and hear a lot of music. But you're right. Virginia does not really have a sound. It's you either down south or I don't even see the New York side of it anymore.
Yeah,
that's true. A lot of cats are doing the down south type music.
Yeah.
And some of them actually still rhyme like they're from New York or wherever. Yeah. But the people that are actually trying to create a sound and have a collective and try to make that whole VA movement, they don't get the love that they should be getting.
Okay.
And it's sad because they're the ones that are trying to be pioneers. They're not doing the whole down south movement, but yet at certain open mics or showcases or whatever, it's flooded with that type of down south stuff. And then when somebody comes up there that's actually doing something original and new, or staying within the craft, or at least showing respect to the essence of it, they don't get the love that they should get. It's like, oh man, here go these dudes, they want to try to be all political, or they get called backpackers, which I didn't even know people still doing that, calling people that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what's wrong with that? Because that's what's going to keep hip-hop going. Because eventually the down south stuff will fade out. Not down there, but here. And people guys run up and they like, well, I'm going to do this way, because they feel like I'm going to get discovered doing it that way. Or the people that are flooding the airways with this type of music is going to find me and put me out there. And it's not going to happen. You don't have the Missy Timberlands and Teddy Rileys and Pharrells around here visible anymore that are going to find people and say, yo, I'm going to put this person on. Like you were saying earlier, cats off the street, it's hard to get in the game now. It's like a fraternity that if you aren't connected with somebody, or you didn't already have a background such as Nicki Minaj or Drake or Hell in 2 Chainz when he was with Disturbed Peace.
Yeah.
If you don't already have an in, there's no way to get in. You just got to grind it and spending money on printing up all these CDs and paying people to be on your songs, and you paying for studio time, and then you made $400 off those CDs, and you spent like $2,000. That's just hustling backwards for real. Yep.
And that's 100% true right there, and that's all I'm about right there. I mean, my thing is that what happens, I think, I look at and you will hear me say stuff about the consumer, and I look at the consumer like the listeners, whoever's gonna buy your stuff. They're really, and that's all of us as consumers. We're not that smart, because how many of us? I'm saying, how many of us saw Mr. Cheeks with that liquor? Now, I bet you I'm the only one out of us three. Why did I cop that liquor? I copped that joint because it's just, he kept talking about it, and I jumped on it. I was like, yo, because somebody that is drinking that. So,
you got me. I don't even know Mr. Cheeks had liquor?
Yeah, well, something, I can't remember what it was called, but it was a few years back, and I went copped like a $20 bottle of that joint, like I knew that was going to be good. Like it was Hennessy, like I knew. And the joint wasn't even that strong. It was like, why did I do that? I cannot remember the name of it. But I know I was mad disappointed. Like, I should have went with the whole Henny. You know what I mean?
I knew nothing about that whatsoever.
But
You know, he connected heavy around here, so I figured they would be promoting it around here. I knew nothing about it.
son,
I
it's
didn't
like
even know about that.
yo, you see, it was old commercials, and he was in there with that joint, and everybody was rocking with it. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. You got these commercials about the tequila and all like that. You know what I'm saying? We already know tequila. We already know. But you get famous people or somebody that they know, that they respect and they know. That's what the consumer does. So a lot of times, if I did some music or something like that, and I got a cat like Cheeks or Busta Rhymes or something, they gonna now pay attention to me. You know what I'm saying? Or I gotta fall in line and be like everybody else.
Yep.
It's what Prophet, you was about to say something?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, you know, with that, you know, with the whole sound thing, it's just like what he touched on is like when you come on stage and you come with something different, sticking to the craft, everybody's not feeling that. And I think that's another problem too, is just everybody's quick to hate. You know what I mean? It's just like you can't be different. And it hurts me. You know what I mean? It's just like you can't be innovative, you can't do anything, and that's why, you know, this area is gonna, you know, if it continues to be that way, it's not gonna go anywhere. You know what I mean?
Same cycle over and over.
The crab in the bucket mentality is ridiculous. But you know,
man, I can't. Man, offline we will talk about that even more. And if I could just touch on it for a second, even trust me, it's not genre specific. It's R&B, it's hip hop, it's spoken word, it's everything. Because there's a lot of people in this area who are poets. They say they're poets. Some people refer to themselves as spoken word artists. I don't necessarily like the term poet unless I'm giving you something in print, you know, because you're reading it. Or if I go to a real poetry reading, like y'all probably will never hear the stuff that is appropriate for that type of venue, because I knew that's not the type of show that I'm on right now. So I wouldn't come and say, yo, Fuego, play this right here, because it's not that type of show. So I gave you what I felt would be appropriate for this show. But getting back to my initial point, the crabs in the barrel mentality. It's like if you're not connected to the boss per se, if there is a boss in any, which is hip hop, spoken word, whatever, there's one person that may be influential to a whole group. And if you're not connected with that one person, then nobody in that group is really going to be checking for anything different. And everybody in the group pretty much has to do the same type of thing. So when you come with something different, people are like, oh, well, I can't mess with that because the group ain't going to feel, you know, they're not going to feel me anymore if I say that, hey, I want to get with that type of sound, or I want to do that type of writing, or this type of performance. And it's odd that you said that, because I just actually recorded something new the other day because I had some stuff on my mind about that crabs in the barrel mentality, so I wanted to get it out. So I hit my man up, you know, shout out to my man Champ the Poet. He produced one of the tracks on my CD, and we worked together heavily. Got a project and everything. He sent me the track. Well, actually, I had the track. He told me go ahead and use that. When I used it, I sent it back to him. He was like, oh, man, the stuff you be thinking of, man. He was like, yo, say it, do it. If that's what you feel like doing, then do it. I'm behind it 100%. And it shouldn't get to that point where you have to express it, whether at a venue or on a record, just to get your point across, to show people that, hey, this is what you need to, this needs to change. And if everybody continues to have that same mentality, then nobody is going to prosper. That's why recently I've scaled back the whole going to the open mics a lot and performing every single venue. And, you know, like I said in one of the joints that I gave you, you wouldn't understand, you know, I can come to a venue and sit in the back and just watch everybody else, because I don't feel the need to jump up there every single time anymore. At one point I was like, and I won't even say it was hungry, I just wanted to be heard. I just wanted to be heard, and I can be honest with y'all, you know, we keeping it real. At one point I was looking for some type of validation from people, because I'm like, this is new to me, and I'm switching over. I want to see what people think. I want you to come pat me on my back, tell me I did a good job. Now I can care less. I'll come do a piece and walk out, clean out, and leave, go home if I got to, because I just wanted to get something off my chest. So that's why I've been hitting the internet surface heavy, submitting to different shows and trying to network with different people, whether it be SoundCloud, Reverb, Twitter, Facebook, wherever. And the response is so much better because it's not people that I know and it's not people that I see all the time. So to them, it's new, it's fresh, and they're like, yo, the same way your man Prophet came to me and talked to me. He had never seen me, as far as I know. So it's new to him. Then when he hit you with it, it was new. It's something that you're not used to. So I respect that, and I'm definitely appreciative of it. Sometimes you get down, you're like, man, why am I still even doing this? And that one person will come and like, yo, I like your track. Or I feel when I send a message on a different site, be like, yo, I love this. Yo, I want to work with you. Stuff like that, and that stuff makes you feel like, okay, you know what, I am doing the right thing.
The whole thing, I mean, and I talk to, we do, as you know, every genre of music. I mean, we go from, rock, whatever. We do whatever, as long as it's good music, because music is what we love, you know what I mean? Obviously, we all grew up in the hip-hop era, and with mainly hip-hop, you know what I mean? That's what I like. That's my, I say personal favorite, but I like everything. Every type of music. So it's always, if you listen to every interview we had with every type of artist, we've done stuff with people in the Caribbean, all over, they all come back to exactly what you're talking about, like this, just being in the true art of it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I keep saying, that I just think everybody needs to, pay attention and just, don't shun nobody because you don't know of them or you never heard of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Why would you shun? Why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? Just because you never heard of that person. So, and I'm talking about artists too. I'm not talking about just fans and people who listen. I'm talking about, don't ask me, and I'm going to tell you a real quick scenario. I contacted a dude, you know what I'm saying? I ain't going to drop name, but he know who he is. I contacted him, and I was like, yo, what's up? We could do an interview. He was down for that. I said, yo, now it's not really his fault when I finish this. You'll see what I'm saying, but he was like, yeah, so what's up? How we do this? I was like, well, yo, give me one of your, give me some tracks and we'll throw it in rotation leading up to, the interview. He was like, oh, well, I'm sorry. I can't give you no tracks because it's not like you guys are like a major radio station. So I said, dude, I just told you I'm going to do something for you. By me playing your record don't mean shit to me. I mean, I'm helping you out. I'm helping you get more Twitter followers and Facebook and get more rotation. You ain't really doing much for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who you are. But now you just shunned me and knocked me because I'm not Hot 97. and that made me mad because it's like, it just was ignorant as hell. And I'm like, dude, you just like maybe not even want to rock with you no more because you just told me, I just offered to do something for you. And just because I'm not this person that you wanted me to be or whatever, you shun me. And if you a true lover of music and you do this for the love of the game, then all of that don't matter. I could just tell you all I have is a tape recorder and a little teeny computer mic or some shit like that, and you'll do a interview off that. You won't ask me to all this. Where's my studio facility? Where is it? Why does it matter? If you just want to express yourself, get this shit out there, I mean, you're gonna do whatever you do. You don't have to have all this crazy high tech shit, and you know what I mean. Like, and that's what I did the sound shit again. My bad. And that's what I just have trouble dealing with. And it makes me vicious. Like, you'll see my Facebook post, and I'm like, wow, did you seriously just, like, shun us because we're not this and that?
I feel everything you're saying, and it's funny that you said that because I believe a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned to somebody, I got a radio interview coming up September 18th. They like, oh, for real, what it's going to be on or whatever. And he like said, I'm not going to say a name. And if that person happens to hear this, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Yep. And they like, I said, it's Fuego Beats Radio or whatever. They like, who? Man, go ahead, man. For real, what's that? I mean, who was that? I mean, why are you, what are they doing for you? And I'm like, ain't doing nothing for me really other than exposure, because that's what I'm looking for. So how can you ask me who are they? And, you know, they sort of came at me the same way that you said your man came at you, like, why, you know.
Why are you doing that?
You know, and, yeah, and, you know, they might, I don't know if they ran and looked it up or try to check you on Twitter or Facebook or whatever to find, you know, what you about and all this. It's not always about making sure the machine is huge. As long as you have a machine, just use it.
Let me
You know?
let me let you know this right here. Now, I'm gonna tell you like this, and if that dude or whoever's listening that is like this, I'm gonna let y'all know like this. I've been doing radios. I was down with some other guys back in, was it 2009? So I've been doing radio. You know what I'm saying? For a little while. You know what I mean? 3 years, whatever. Exactly 3 years in October on Columbus Day. It'll be exactly 3 years. Just because the show has been only going on a year, my show, doesn't mean that I haven't been up in the shit, doing shit. And at the same time, as much as you deal with me right now, we promoting you on everything we got. So that's gonna be when the web hits you and they look up Ryder Jones, they gonna see 17 different websites you on versus 12 or versus 10 or versus 1. Then that's gonna make people, yeah, exactly. And that's gonna make people gravitate towards you more, regardless of who is on there. How many times? I mean, yo, I'm not gonna put business out there, but there's websites that bullshit about the number of hits they have, and they will put fictitious numbers on that shit. But just because you see those numbers, you rock with them.
Yeah, or buying, and I hate buying Twitter followers and buying YouTube views, and that's been a big conversation amongst a few people that I know lately. And you know, you see the Facebook posts and all this stuff, and cats talking about people that are buying Twitter followers and buying Facebook friends and buying YouTube. And I was like, man, come on, man, you can't be serious. People really doing that? And I'm like, what is that really doing for you? I got a direct message from a cat on Twitter. Yo, 15,000 followers for $15. I'm like,
yeah.
Are you serious? Me having 15,000 followers on Twitter is not going to change my life in any way. I'm still going to have to get up in the morning, go to work. I'm still going to have my daughter. My wife is still going to be the same. It's nothing. That's going to do nothing but take my $15 that I could have put some gas in my car with, or hell, went and bought me a bottle. I had myself a good time. Anything.
Exactly.
Why would I do something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really sad because it's like you need friends that bad, or your self-esteem is that low that you feel like, you know, you got 15,000 followers, then I'm the shit. Or what, you gonna go get a T-shirt and put it on the back? I have 20,000 Twitter followers and all that. It's not gonna change your life in any way.
I'm gonna tell y'all like this, and then I have one quick question for you before we try to wrap this up.
Word.
But I'm gonna say this: Milli Vanilli would have had 1 billion if they were around right now. So that tells you what the hell Twitter followers mean to me. That shit don't mean nothing if your shit is garbage. Means nothing. So, I mean, yo, but I definitely want to ask you, yo, you getting into anything coming up, any shows you want to, you know, promote, you know what I'm saying? Let them know, you know what I'm saying, how to holler at you, how to hit you up, how to listen to your music, all of that.
Well, I can't say that I have any shows at this moment. I do have something coming up, but I can't really speak on it this second.
No,
but as far as projects, I'm just, you know, promoting the Intellectually Street, you know, still promoting Observe and Report when I can here and there. But Intellectually Street right now, that's my baby. So, you know, I'm in love with the CD. I'm promoting that. I have a project, you know, like I said, me and my man Champ got a project coming out, but it's kind of on hold right now because we're doing both. Both of us are doing things because he produces and does spoken word. But I do have one thing coming out. I don't know an exact date, but it should be before the end of the year. I have a project with a French producer. His name is Jazz Back T. Shout out to Jazz, even though I don't know if he'll ever hear this. He'll hear it when I hit him with the link. But
no doubt.
He doesn't really speak English that well, so I would have to send him the words to the whole interview, which I'm not going to do that. But yeah, we got.
I feel you. That's a little too much.
The project is called Jazz Suite 5110, and you know, this dude, he's a producer that meshes jazz samples with hip hop 90s, 2000 break beats, and it comes off so smooth.
Okay.
And he got at me after we linked on SoundCloud, and I threw the idea out there as far as doing the project, and he was all with it. So he was excited, mad excited. Dude's a younger dude too. So once that drops, that's another outlet, over there, because he's gonna put heavy over there. Nobody knows Ryder Jones and Friends that I know of anyway. They do now because we dropped one joint on SoundCloud and it's loving it. So that's the type of things that I'm doing, and I'm real excited about that. But if people want to hear my stuff, they can check on iTunes, just type in Ryder Jones, Bandcamp, Ryder Jones, Twitter, Facebook, everything is just straight Ryder Jones. The projects are there, the music is there, Reverb, the music is there. Just pretty much Google Ryder Jones, it'll come up. It's more stuff than I ever expected to come up when you put my name in Google, for real. I never expected any of that.
Yep.
And, just humbled by it all, for real.
Yep.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I mean, it's been a great, conversation again. Like I said, Ryder Jones is the truth. I'm telling y'all, so y'all need to definitely get with him on, collabs or whatever. And
yeah, definitely. I work with pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
Exposure. Plus, I'm a fan of the music. So, if you need me to feature on a rock and roll song, if you send me the track and I'm feeling it and it works, hey, we got a collab. I'm good with it.
That's what's up.
We really thank you for being on the show, and special message to everybody out there that whenever you hear something different, don't shut it down. Try to embrace it, because you just never know where it's gonna go.
Word, well said.
And my special message is shut the hell up, and that's all. So for all y'all, that's all I'm saying right there. So we're gonna go to Ryder Jones' video, and stay on the line though, because I want to holler at you, offline about some things.
No doubt.
All right.
What y'all need to do is put that bullshit down and get back to making some dope fucking hip hop around here.
So yeah, I'm still hip-hop. I'm still graffiti-laden backdrops with cardboard dance floors. Still an avid supporter of grassroots campaigns for the art form. They held precedence way before labels took control and made it so rappers could have more. Disposable funds provided a chance for more fun but less interesting concepts. More cars and trips to rhyme about but less truth from loose lips. I'm still a fan of melodic musical manuscripts. Missiles used to sink ships whenever there was a challenge. I'm not a fan of the way that there's no visible balance between party rhymers and full-time punchliners, between skinny jeaners and dominant loose leafers. Life said most of the generation is giving up on believing in the culture, and I say he's right, because we need more real MCs skilled enough to puncture the bubble where most new cats nowadays survive. And live shows in the past meant one man, one DJ, and a mic stand, and not 40 people on stage jumping around who need to pull up their pants. And that's in the literal sense. I know my 2 cents might not make them change, but at least I'm willing to speak up, and that's how I plan to keep showing my love for the game. My fondest hip-hop memories involve listening to Rakim and Eric B, dropping classic albums that raised the degree of difficulty, made it so ABC lyrics were no longer sufficient. The MCs, if they wanted to stay relevant, shit, it was imperative that you mastered that element. Right now, simple conversation about where you went on vacation and how many chains you robbed can get you played on every station. It's like the situation is no longer about having to develop your craft, and when you try to mention it to the youngsters, they suck their teeth, bounce to trap beats, hop on their swag, zippers, and laugh. Being so hip-hop, I long for the day when pioneers are celebrated, and the issue is no longer debated about whether they're too old to rock a crowd. I'm sure the majority will stand proud and be happy to continue the same way the Stones and Aerosmith still sell out at home and international venues. It's a damn shame how our culture is so one-sided. Man, I still throw on Criminal Minded and become blinded by the way Chris took gangsta rap and defined it. Made it not something to be chastised for, but raised the level of awareness. Made it something that should be heard more, and showed that hip-hop music really was something we all should applaud. Boys, girls, and parents the same turned something without a name into something that catapulted inner-city poets to fame. I swear to you that I won't change. My age does not dictate my musical taste, and the place where I am in life will not diminish my love for hearing a dope MC demolish a mic. Even through spoken word, I will continue to serve the hip-hop gods. And if that seems odd to you, then there's really a good amount of soul searching that you might need to do. Claiming true school era as your own, but only showing love for it when tucked away quietly at home. Behind closed doors, you rock a war tour, but out in the street, you walk to a different beat. R&B is cool, but don't try to fool the people who know you. I know you still love Rob Bases, it takes two, but it's gonna take me and the millions of others who grew up with this culture like it was a sister or brother to help bring it back. And without the loyalty from one another, it would just fade away, and that's the part that smothers my conscience. Common sense expressed how he used to love her, but now she's a promiscuous demon content with screaming about scheming and murdering motherfuckers. I ride the coattails and straighten it out in Black Moon tunes. A Tribe Called Quest and leaders of the new school. These new fools don't understand how rich the history is, and I understand that anything that gets big enough, people tend to want to get their share of the ends. But since it's now the main influence again, I'm asking that you recognize the skill it takes and the happy-go-lucky fake gangster rap you helped me put an end to it. I am still hip-hop, y'all, and I'm right here for us all to enjoy forever.
What y'all need to do is put that bullshit down and get back to making some